Okay, the purpose of this video is to help you understand how to do stoichiometry problems in chemistry. So this is the stoichiometry practice worksheet that I gave you in class. In this video, I'm going to go through the first 4 problems. All right, so hopefully this will help you as you're doing your homework. Now, you should also have one of these mole maps that I gave to you. If not, you can look in your book on page, let me just check what page that is on in your book. It should be page 240. Okay, you will see this in your book. So if you don't have one of these, open up to page 240 and you can follow along. This first question is asking me how many moles of H2 would be required to react with 1.7 moles of N2. So this is different than what we've done before because it's asking us to go from something about this H2 molecule to something about this N2 molecule. So that's where this map comes in handy. Before I show you the map though, I'm just going to write down what my given is. So my given is 1.7 moles of N2. And I am trying to find the number of moles of H2. Okay, now if we look at the map, we need to figure out where we are starting. So which circle our given is in. Now remember, the given is moles of N2. I'm going to say that N2 is molecule A. That's just an arbitrary letter. I'm just choosing A because N2 is what I'm starting with. And I'm going to say that H2 is molecule B. Okay, that's just another arbitrary letter. It's just B because I'm trying to end with that. So I am starting with moles of A, and I'm trying to get to moles of B. This is a map. So this is my starting location. This is my destination. This road is a conversion factor that can get me there. And this particular road says use the balanced reaction. Okay, it probably should also say something about coefficients, because you are going to use the coefficients from the balanced reaction to get from moles of A to moles of B. So this is how you're going to do this. Let's put the given over 1, just like we always do. Now our conversion factor needs to come from this equation, and it needs to be something that will cancel out moles of N2. Well, my equation tells me that for every 1 mole of N2, I will need 3 moles of H2 to react with it. So I can actually write that as a conversion factor. And you might be able to guess that the 1 mole of N2 is going to go on the bottom, because if it's on the bottom, it will cross out this moles of N2 on the top. So that cancels out. And then on top of the 1 mole of N2 will be 3, because that's the coefficient of H2, moles of H2. And then you would just multiply 1.7 times 3. That would be your answer, and I'll let you do that on your own. Okay, now I'm going to move on to problem number 2. Dealing with the same reaction right here. This says a chemist does a reaction with 2.4 grams of H2. So my given is going to be 2.4 grams of H2. I'm going to call H2 molecule A. And then I'm trying to find the number of moles of NH3. So I'm trying to find moles of NH3. Okay, I'm going to call NH3B. So you can see I'm starting with grams of A. I need to get to moles of B. So if I look at the map, here's grams of A, here's moles of A, and here's moles of B. So this time I will need to use 2 conversion factors. So I'm going to just set this up as 2.4 grams of H2 over 1, and then I'm going to write 2 conversion factors, because I know I need that many. Now my first conversion factor to get from grams of A, or H2, to moles of A says the number of grams per 1 mole. That is the molar mass from the periodic table. So if you look on the periodic table, if you look at hydrogen, hydrogen's right here. The number below it is about 1. I'm just going to round that to 1. Its molar mass is 1. Now this is H2, so since I have 2 hydrogens, the molar mass is going to be about 2 grams per 1 mole. Okay. Now I need to decide how to put that in this conversion factor. Do I leave it this way or do I flip it over? Remember, my goal is always to cancel out units. So I should flip it over because that will cancel out my grams of H2. So I have just arrived at the moles of A, circle. So I'm here. Now I just need to get here. So I need to use the coefficients from the equation, just like I did on the last problem. I want to cancel out moles of H2, and I want to get to moles of NH3. So looking up here, the coefficient of H2 is a 3, so that will be 3 moles of H2 on the bottom. And then the coefficient of NH3 is a 2. So I'll have 2 moles of NH3 on the top. Those will cross out. Now to solve this, a lot of people like to multiply by everything on the top. So 2.4 times 2 would be about 4.8. And then 2 times 3 is 6. So in your calculator, just do 4.8 divided by 6, and that would be your answer. So 0.8 moles of NH3. Okay, and I'm actually going to turn this off and do a separate video for questions 3 and 4, just to make sure that this doesn't get too long to post. So watch the second video to learn how to do questions 3 and 4.